Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm making a short video just of something random that I wanted to talk about because what's crazy is that what started this was because my mom watched it, and I kind of like walked by the living room when she was watching it, and I was like, what the heck, that looks like Lucy from I Love Lucy. Lucille Ball. I was like, what is her name? And I didn't actually know that my mom was watching a movie about the Ricardos, and that I mean, that's the name of the movie. So so this is just a random thing that I just wanted to talk about because I had time recently to watch it myself, because I didn't watch it with her. I was just like, oh my god, I was like, that can't be an I Love Lucy, you know, it's not black and white, and it's not, you know, it looked more serious than funny. And that, I know, you know, Lucy made series that were hilarious for that time era. And so when I asked her, I was like, what did you watch? She was like, they made a movie about them too. And I was, yeah, so just a random video of my thoughts on the movie, The Ricardos, and it was, I don't want to say eye-opening, I mean, because it wasn't that, you know, crazy and serious. I mean, it wasn't like a Marvel movie, but it was pretty interesting. It's a lot of things in there that I had no idea, but basically the movie was about them two making the I Love Lucy series. And what I thought was not surprising but interesting to know was the fact that she truly, and I mean truly, loved her husband, Desi. He I don't want to say it was, you know, this is a shocker, but I think in that time that they, you know, that they were married, it was just, I don't want to say that it was normal for men to, you know, not be faithful to their wives, because I mean, come on, we live in the 21st century, but I don't know, I just watching a couple, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of I Love Lucy, not because I didn't think it was great, it's just I didn't really watch it. I watched some, and the ones that I did watch I thought were great and funny, but I wasn't like someone who was obsessed with it and watched every single episode of I Love Lucy. But, you know, the fact that they had, you know, 20 million viewers, or was it 20 or 60 million viewers, something like that, for that time, that's a lot of people. So they were obviously a very well known couple. And I didn't know that Desi was someone who he didn't truly feel comfortable in the spotlight because his wife was just so much more famous, and you know, it's, that can be relatable even now, where there are, you know, and I hate to say that, but there are some men out there who belittle their partner, their you know, female partner, because you know, they're doing better than he is, and maybe it's also vice versa. I don't know. I actually just read a book called oh my gosh, what is it called? Of course I'm drawing a blank, but it was like, oh, it was it's called The Secrets to Six-Figure Women, or The Secrets of Six-Figure Women, I believe that's what it is. I forgive me for not remembering who the author was, but that is the title of the book. I will actually link but I will give the full description of the book and the author in the description below. But she talks about that happening because it's obviously, she's interviewing, you know, women, and she mentions in the book that a lot of their husbands, you know, it ended in divorce when they made six figures because they were making more money than their husband was. Anyway, so yeah. So going back to that, I didn't know that that was, you know, it was a big issue between, you know, Desi and Lucille. And I didn't know. And that is because I love Lucy. Unfortunately, Lucille was a very strong-minded, you know, strong person. She really was smart and had a lot of ambition and loved truly what she did. She was good at it. But because it was like she was, how do you say it? She was too, no, that's not the right word, but maybe she was too advanced for her time, is what I'm saying. You know, like she was just one of those women who needed to be, you know, really famous in the, you know, 90s or the, you know, the early 2000s, I guess. You know, that would have been the perfect time for her to be, you know, a superstar. I mean, I think more women were accepted at that time, to being so, I don't want to say demanding, but just very like, you know what you want. You know you're good at what you do. You know what you want. That's kind of how that's how she came off in the movie. And you know, that just wasn't a thing for women at that time. So it just showed a lot of, she's got a lot of wits. She's good on her feet, on her toes. I thought that was all great. I don't know, a lot of it just, and the fact that I didn't know that she wasn't a communist, but her grandfather was, or he was part of the party, the Communist Party, and she just wanted to please him because that man took care of her. She was very straightforward with it, and what happened and why someone got a hold of her, you know, like, I guess, voting card, or how you affiliate yourself in the political world. I didn't even know they had a card like that. I know we have voting cards, correct me if I'm wrong. I know that, but I didn't know that there was a card that people got and that said if you were part of a certain party. I just, you know, actually I thought they did away with that, but anyway, so she basically checked a box of, you know, it said Democrat, Republican, Independent, Communist. I don't know. I've never seen a card like that, but basically she checked the box of that she was a communist, which she wasn't. She just checked it because that's who her grandfather was. And if you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie Meet the Ricardos. I mean, I wouldn't give it a 10-star. I mean, it was an interesting movie to learn about the couple themselves and Lucille Ball. And yeah, and in the end, I thought the ending was just perfect, in my opinion. She basically got her husband or she didn't. He came up with the idea, but she already knew. She was like 2 steps ahead of him. He told her, Desi told Lucille that he was going to, spoiler alert, that he was going to get the live crowd, to basically hear Lucille's side of the story. The fact that, you know, she wasn't a communist, that the news is blowing something out of proportion, and he basically got President Hoover on the phone. You know, and I actually should research if that really, I mean, because when I was watching, I was like, did that really happen? I mean, how come? I don't know. I also wasn't born in that time, so I have no idea if that is really true or not. And then after they basically confirmed that Lucille has never been a part of the Communist Party, you know, her and Desi go, you know, behind the curtains, I guess, and they hug it out, and they, you know, she's like, thank you for basically clearing my name. And then the infamous question that she had been asking Desi throughout the entire movie, which is, have you been cheating on me? And he says no every single time. And even the last time that she asks him, have you cheated on me? And he was like, I just did this for you. I just cleared your name in front of live television, in front of live audience. I even got the president to, get on the phone and, say that the FBI has cleared you, stuff like that. And she was just like, look, I'm going to ask you just answer the question. And he was like, no, I've never cheated on you. And then all of a sudden she pulls out his handkerchief, one of his handkerchiefs that had lipstick, and it was pink lipstick. And he was like, dude, that's your lipstick. Remember that one time when you pulled it out of, my front pocket, and then you wiped, your mouth, and then you put it back in your pocket? And she was like, yes, I remember that. And she said, but this is my lipstick. And she pulls out another handkerchief, one of his handkerchiefs, and it was like a darker, like reddish, like maroon red. I mean, I don't know. I'm not very good with that, with specific colors of lipstick, but it was a darker color. And the one that she originally pulled out was like a light pink or something like that. And just his face was like, oh my God, she just caught me. And you could just see like Lucille crying, but she wasn't, I mean, she had tears, but she held her composure. Like she was just, and then she's like, let's, and they were supposed to film live, at that time. And I think one of the people who were part of the production, like they bring it back to, the show, and then they bring like the real people who are part of I Love Lucy. They're like obviously now older, but they go, back to a real interview, and they were saying, that the lady that was talking said that was like the worst shooting that they had ever done, that Lucille and Desi had ever done. But obviously she had just caught him, and he confessed. He was like, it was just a couple hookers. It didn't mean anything. I mean, just to her face. And then it says at the very end that Lucille filed for divorce the day after their last shooting of I Love Lucy. So it's just,